Death Watch.
Okay, welcome back. So I've shared with you a map of the village itself. You should be able to view that anytime now. There's not a lot marked out individually, just the areas of importance like the home of the heroes, the council hall, and the lighthouse and the village green.
So when Rohan was in that lighthouse, he's actually pretty far away.
Yeah, it's a climb. Yeah. It's not, this isn't like to scale. I had limited space to work with, so there's actually a stone ladder on that cliffside that he can go up.
All right.
Right, so as we left, you were sitting astride your newly awakened rocks. You had the old human still passed out, being watched by Nazus, the Minotaur. And let's see, what else of importance? Right, the cat had jumped out of, what was it, Graham's pack?
Yes.
Yeah, so the cat's resting with you, seemingly unperturbed about being on top of a massive bird. And as I'd said, you could see the village pretty well from your vantage point, well below you. And then the angry mountain was sending plumes of smoke and ash into the sky, almost lazily. So it's mid-morning, and you can see the fishermen of the village. You can see their boats out in the ocean as well, casting their nets and stuff. So what would you like to do?
So we had gained knowledge as well about how to control these, how to ride.
You'd had another vision similar to the ones you had when you entered the Dwarven complex, and that gave you the basic understanding of the commands and the different whistles and tones and touches that you give the rocks their directions.
Okay. Well,
and it also let you know that despite their being special in comparison to other rocks, some things they retain. So the previous heroes all down the line never had any luck getting them to fly very far inland. So they seem to always prefer coasts and open ocean, small islands.
Well, having a little bit more knowledge of the rock, and feeling a bit adventurous and brave, I'll give it the command to take off, to go flying.
Okay, so you do that, and she takes off running and leaps off the edge of the cliff and spreads her wings and starts flying through the sky. So you didn't remember to put your harness on.
Nope.
So
it was that was something that I was gonna try and do as we were, because I know that I didn't remember it.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty easy, so you can get it on.
So it's kind of a panic freak out moment.
Right.
Got to do this quick.
She's not doing any barrel rolls, so you're fine.
Well, that's what your jostling tells her to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that was kind of the idea. I guess behind that was more, excited now and forgetful, really.
Yeah, so you guys watch that. She runs and takes off, and you can feel your own are itching to do the same.
Well, I'll give mine the go-ahead.
Okay.
I'll put my harness on, though.
Okay.
Maybe.
Roll your put-on harness. All right. So yours does too. And it goes running in the direction, the same direction. So it follows behind and leaps off, and you can feel the incredible strength underneath you and the power of the wings as they flap. And it makes this really deep sound that rumbles in your chest with each movement. a little bit of feathers fall off here and there. Some of the remaining dust from the stone. And then she just continues flying after Fenrith's rock.
Where are we going, Fenrith?
Well, just wherever. We can go anywhere now.
Yeah, so what you notice while you're flying is that it's actually, you have a limited field of vision. Like, you obviously can't see directly below you. And the wings, as they stretch on endlessly on either side, they block that whole quadrant. So you've just got like the corners that you can look, and you can only look at an angle. There's a large blind spot underneath of the bird that you can't see, but you can see forever. So you're looking out at the ocean now, and it's not very long at all before you're flying over the fishing boats of the village, going in sort of a southeasterly direction. You can see schools of fish through the clear water down below being chased by the fishermen in their nets. And you can see other, like dolphins and things of that nature. You see a lot of seabirds too, but they're well below you. Your rock, both of them seem to be trying to gain altitude. So you're going at a, upward angle.
Yeah, I'll call out to Graham and make it kind of a race, right? Like race back home.
Well,
if he can, I don't know if he can actually hear me.
There's no way
okay
to ever communicate.
Heroic
with
hand
his
signals.
voice. Yeah.
Did we remember any type of hand signals?
No.
Okay.
But you did remember that was how they used to communicate, is with hand signals and flags, different colored flags and stuff. So, like, as you think about it, you think you could probably get a message across to them.
Okay. Then I'll gesture at him and trying to indicate a race back to the village.
Do I have to sense his motive?
Yeah.
Quick, Graham, attack me with all your might.
I've never trained that at all.
Well, both do your hero craft skill. So Fenrith's role will determine how well he does at performing the signals and the proper sign language. And Graham, yours will be, that's good enough for him to say, with hand signals. And some of it's familiar because you guys always had some hand signals that you trained with. But you get the sense that he wants to race you back to the village.
I'll oblige him. I don't know if I consciously I'm aware of how I fly this thing. It's probably still on intuition or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You just sort of know what you're supposed to do. So Casimir and Rohan, Nazus is down there and he's gaping at this, and he's got a big smile on his face. It looks really weird on a bovine face. The smile looks actually pretty frightening. But you can tell that he's clearly happy at what he's seeing, and he looks to you both and says, "Go on, I'll take care of this."
I was going to ask my bird if it could carry him and the other human as well.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
I was going to, I'm still using the speak with animals.
Oh, I got you.
So
no.
No, it can't.
Well, in her talons, she can, if you want to do it that way.
Okay.
That's the idea you get from her.
Okay.
In her talons, but not on her back. That's,
sacred territory.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call down to Nazu and see if that would be okay with him.
Right. So he had waved off and said, "Go on, catch up to him. I'll take care of this." And he's already slung the, cradled like a little baby because he's giant.
Yeah.
And he's already walking towards the edge. Right. So when you say that, he's like, "No."
What's he going to do? Just jump over the edge?
Yeah, in fact, that's what he does. He just jumps over the edge.
He knows magic, so
right. He had told you that he knows some magic.
Okay.
But he learned that magic by altering the demiplane he was in with his mind.
Uh-oh.
And so it wasn't real magic. It just worked in there. So he dies, and so does the human. So, shame. Anyway, what do you guys want to do? Just kidding. Yeah.
I
So
was going to say that. I think that's the laziest game mastering way of taking out a character ever.
No way. That's brilliance, man.
yeah,
It's pure brilliance.
yeah. He just hops off like it's like the front step, and then you see him gently floating down in the direction of the village there.
He's gonna land right in the middle of
It's
all
actually
these
gonna
monsters.
Give
And
me an idea.
he didn't unsummon his pet either. So
Oh no.
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Well, I guess I'll curse both of these guys. Like when Fenrith first goes off, I'll say he's worse than Graham.
Yeah.
And then when Graham goes off, I'll say he's worse than Fenrith.
Yeah.
But seeing as Nazus is just going to go for it, I guess I'll take to the air and kind of keep an eye on him, I guess.
Okay.
Make sure he gets to the village. And that's where I'm heading. I'm not going to do any, or try not to anyway.
Right. Well, yeah. So here's the thing. Like, you're all about business, and then she starts moving, and
I'm going to strap in before I...
right. Yeah. But it's such an incredible, exhilarating experience that, well, it's one of those things that happen that you will never forget, no matter how long you live. And so, she leaps off the edge and she starts flapping her wings, and it's like every movement actually would threaten to vibrate you right off of the top of her, but the feathers are like so thick that you don't even know where the skin is, right? And she starts moving and the wind's blowing in your face, and you could see for miles and miles and miles. It's a pretty amazing experience. But she does what you want. She'll just start heading down towards the village. She's got to make sort of a winding circular path. I mean, she could just dive bomb and land, but they don't like to do that because it can hurt them.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So, Ron, what do you want to do?
So I'll kind of follow suit, but once we're over the village, I'll tell my rock to circle down and meet me near the hero's hut, and then I'm going to jump off.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm going to try to kind of maneuver myself so that I'll land near the council,
Okay.
the house of the council, and then, a couple 100 feet above, I'll proc my ring of featherfall.
Okay. All right. So, so you just jump off after saying that, and the rest of you hear this, like, the only thing you can hear besides the wind is this shriek from Rohan's rock, and yours all react to that, and they start turning and banking so they can see what's going on, and you can see that Rohan's just falling straight down towards the ground. And of course, some of you might remember that he can do that, but you might not either. What's going on right now?
Seeing as how I had forgotten to strap in at first, I'll I'll make the command to turn, and I'll lower myself as much as I can into the rock and have it try and go get him.
Okay. Anyway, so Rohan, you start falling, and then you want to activate your ring.
Yeah, I'll wait until I'm, a couple 100 feet off the ground.
Okay. All right. So the rest of you head for the village.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to land? So as you're getting lower and lower, you can see now that Nazus, you can clearly make his form out. He's landed right in the middle of the village green.
Mm.
And there's a lot of people in that area.
So can I aim to kind of follow where he is
Yeah.
rather than land on the council hall?
Was there a I guess traditional roost in our village for?
No.
Okay.
No. But looking at the size of these animals, you can see that sort of plateau that the home of the heroes is nestled on has room for them. There's
Yeah.
just no building there or anything.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was just seeing is that little kind of jut where that cliff is. That's after seeing that Rohan is not actually hadn't forgotten to strap in and
Right.
plummeting to his death. Then I'll try and redirect over to that area.
Oh, by your house?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the little
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Where do you want to land, Casimir?
Let's go east of the lighthouse. Right? On the
Yeah. Oh, up there on that elevation? The elevation of the lighthouse, or?
Yeah, like in between the hero's house and the lighthouse.
Gotcha.
Those little kind of rocky cliff looking
Yeah.
area.
Okay. All right. And Graham, where were you going to land?
Well, I was racing Fenris, so
Yeah.
I need to know who won the race.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
so-
he would because I broke off.
Well, Graham, so you're going about this and you're racing, and then suddenly your bird just banks hard to the south, and you can pretty quickly see that it's dive bombing towards the ocean, and you can see down there, and there's a massive aquatic creature that she's going straight towards, and so if you want to bring her back under control, you'll have to make a hero craft roll.
Is this like other ocean hunting birds where they dive below?
Oh,
below
you
the
don't know.
water?
You don't know. She could.
Better climb into that chest on the saddlebag.
Yes, this is the underwater for submarine.
Part
mode.
rock, part puffin, whatever.
No, I'll let her take the lead. I guess we'll see what happens here.
Okay.
Turns
All
out
right.
they're part, what is it? Is it cranes?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, with the big old gullet.
Pelicans.
Pelicans, yeah.
All right. So, she starts going so fast that, I mean, it's impossible for you to even imagine how fast.
Do I pass out?
There's nothing that you've ever seen that can go that fast. Right?
Gray out, yeah.
Well, it is. It's making your eyes like you can't see anymore. Really, you got them squinted as much as you can. You can barely see, and it's hard to breathe
Yeah.
from all that going right towards your face. And then there's suddenly she, levels off. Right, I mean, you can see the water there. Levels off, and there's this impact that's like ear shattering, and water goes everywhere. It gets all over you, right? The cat freaks out and launches itself at you and hangs on with its claws in
How
your
much
chest.
damage?
Well, now you have armor, so you're not going to get hurt by the cat.
But the cat's Vorpal now.
the cat, yeah, it's got that look that cats have when they get so like water dumped on them or whatever, and it's making that sound that they make. Not that you can hear that, but anyway, then your bird continues at that level pace, just a foot above the water, maybe more, maybe a little more, and then slowly she starts angling back up and banking around towards the village. You can't see if she's got anything or not.
Okay. No, I won't.
But you can tell that she seems satisfied.
But yeah, otherwise, I suppose I was heading to the same place John was.
Okay.
For the end of it there.
All right, so Rohan, you land on the village green, and you can see at least 40 villagers on the edge of the green, looking towards Nazus and this unconscious human in the middle. And Nazus, for his part, he understands what's going on, so he's put his axe down and he's got his hands up and he's saying in Elven, I'm no threat to you, I'm a friend. And you can see all the villagers, they have weapons. They have their pitchforks or their wood axes. One person has a pan, right? And they have knives or whatever, but they clearly are expecting that soon they'll have to fight and die.
Okay.
But anyway, then you land, and he looks at you, and he's like, "We didn't think this through, I think."
I'm gonna nod and say I agree. But yeah, I'll kind of stand between him and the villagers and kind of put up my hand and say,
Hero, what's the meaning of this? Who is this?
it's an ally against the evil.
Kill him.
Wait.
Comes from somewhere in the back. Fight for your life.
Probably that dang roof thatcher. It's always the roof thatcher.
And then, so the mayor Cinti, she steps forward and starts walking towards you, and she's trying to calm the villagers. Calm down. Let's hear what the hero has to say. If he meant violence, he would have committed it by now. And then, so she comes up, and you can see the rest of them. They know this is mayor business, but this is nothing like this is not something they're willing to miss. So they start crowding closer, trying to hear, especially the kids.
I'm going to try and distract them from the Minotaur by the giant rocks circling and say, if you look closely, the heroes ride.
Right. They do. They look up, and then a good half of them, they shriek in terror and start running for their, some underneath the house, somewhere, right, next to these palm trees or whatever. Because everybody knows someone whose friend told them about someone who got carried off by a rock.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually ever seen that happen.
And he cries that they're actually ravens to carry the island off again.
The ravens are coming. No, but the other half, they're more curious than afraid, and so they're watching, and their mouths drop open, and they're like, "Wait, someone's on top of that one." And then a kid's like, "I recognize that. That's Casimir." And soon enough, the birds, they make their slow descent. And they can't just land. Well, I suppose they might be able to, but that's not how they generally land. They do it like an airplane. So they come in low and then they hit the ground and they run for a little bit and flap their wings, slow down. But everybody's just completely blown away. Eventually, the ones who ran, they start coming back, and then everybody's like gathering close and looking at these massive birds who are bigger than any rocks they've ever seen. And the mayor, she's the same as the rest of them. She's got her mouth wide open and she's staring wide-eyed at these birds. And then finally she snaps out of it. She's like, "This is a momentous occasion. First this gentleman," and she points at Nazus, and now this, and she points. "What you must tell me of what has transpired."
I'll just say, convene the council. We have much to discuss.
You didn't say it right, though.
Look, I'm the mayor here. I don't do what you say. You
And
do
I'm
what I say.
going to cut her off. I'm going
She
to
doesn't say that.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Hey, I got a rock now, lady.
But I'll say, first question I have to ask is, how long have we been gone?
So your voice is drowned out at that point by Graham's rock landing. So she comes in low like the others, but she's got a massive shark in her talons, 20 feet long, and she throws it ahead of her so that when she finally comes to a stop, it'll be there in front of her. And so that drowns your voice out. So the mayor's like, "What?" And then she looks, and like now a shark is rolling across the village green.
Land shark.
Yeah.
All the villagers come back to fight for their lives now.
These are dark times when the sharks take to the skies.
More like a 15-foot shark. Sorry, not 20. But yeah. So she's. It's like there's too much going on. So you hear someone faint. In the
Kill
crowd.
him.
And so then the mayor finally again gets control of herself, and she's like, she turns to all the others and says, "Please, folks, this is council business. Please go back to your tasks and let us meet with the heroes in the council, and then we'll make an announcement afterwards right here in the village green." So there's some grumbling, and then there's one guy, this one old guy that you don't recognize. But he steps forward and he's like, "You can't just send us off. This is important. Nothing like this has ever happened. We have a right to know." But then some people are like, "Yeah." And then like you look at him for a little bit more and you realize you do sort of recognize him. And then the mayor looks at him and says, "Stop stirring up trouble." And then you realize that it's the councilman that was so old that Casimir almost thought he'd need to carry him on that first night when the ravens appeared in the village, but he's much younger. And as you look around at people, you're seeing that same effect. Even the mayor herself is much younger.
We're going to be in diapers soon, guys.
But yeah, he's just stirring up trouble because he's on the council. So the mayor's like, "You're on the council. You're going to find out. Stop stirring up trouble." And he laughs and starts heading towards the council hall. You know.
Next time we come back, he's going to have like a placard. No birds in the village.
No birds and no minotaurs.
No walking on the grass.
So what are you going to leave? You pretty much have to leave your birds here.
Yeah. If there's like, and I don't imagine that these things just waited patiently wherever that they were, when the heroes weren't riding them or in need of them, they were probably free to do whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll, if there is a command for that, let it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah. I'll be pretty excited though, as, talking with Graham and Casimir if he lands next to us as well. Is just excited, even though they had the same type of experience and maybe saw the same things, just going through, and it was cool when when this happened, and oh my God, did you see Rohan? Right?
Yeah,
and just all sorts of stuff, and yes, really excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to remember, what are you guys, like 17?
Yeah.
Right around.
Somewhere around there.
So how traumatic is it to watch this rock tear that shark apart?
Right, so, well, that's the thing. Like, as soon as you guys get off and start going, heading around, then the others join around, and they all start eating at this. And normally when even social birds are sharing a meal, there'll be some squabbling, but they look like, refined ladies at a banquet hall, and they're gently, not hurting each other and not arguing over it. But in absolutely no time, all the meat's picked off of it because they're just so huge. But so you got to walk off of the green to an incline where you get onto that little plateau that the council hall's on. And then, but as you get up there to the level, Graham, your father, he's there, and he waves at you. He says, "It's good to see you, son."
Yeah, I'll break into a run. Dad!
Yeah.
Throw my arms around him.
"Oh, there. You weren't gone that long. Did you have quite an adventure?"
Yeah, I thought you were dead.
"What?"
I saw you. You were dead. Are you alive?
Right. So
Pull on his ears.
he, the relationship you had with your father was, and stop me if I've said this before because I'm getting deja vu, but the relationship you had with your father is that once you had your injury, he had a lot of trouble dealing with you. Like a lot of things that he thought you should understand that you didn't. A lot of times when you did things that you just knew were, like one time you sawed through one of the stilts under the house just to see what would happen, right?
Don't stick your hand in the fire.
Practicing disabled device.
So he had a real hard time. Not that he ever was like mean or abusive, but towards the time when you left to go live at the home of the heroes for your training with the other kids, you got the sense that while for sure he loved you, but you got the sense that he was sort of relieved,
Right.
that you were going to be going.
Be quite a burden.
Yeah. But now you're getting older. Now that you've had this little bit of adventure and you've had some time, like you're actually reaching the level of maturity where you can understand that sort of thing. Like, wow, no wonder my dad got angry at me for this because that was a stupid thing to do or whatever. But he definitely seems happy to see you now. And he's like, "Look, I know you got council business, but come on over. Your mom misses you. And you've got 2 little sisters, so write that down. They miss you too."
Really? Were they just born?
Yeah. Twins.
Like
What are their names?
12 years ago.
Don't push it. You're
No,
going to cost
yeah.
XP.
He's grinding his teeth.
You have a 7-year-old sister and a 5-year-old sister. Okay. And I'll tell you their names.
You've been
different.
gone
Sister
7
1 and
years?
Sister 2. So, you know who they are. You know your sisters. But
Do
he
you?
says your mom would love to see you, and so would your sisters. And we'd love to hear some stories, for sure. And I'd like to hear what you've been about. You look good, son. You look strong.
Except for that haunted look in his eyes from the
Yeah.
damned halls.
Yeah,
Dad, you won't
he
believe
does.
it.
He is looking at you differently, like with a different level of respect than you've ever noticed before. You know.
Yeah, that's probably somewhat odd. Because the headcanon I had for that is, did all the children go to try out for the hero stuff? Is it like obligatory?
No.
No.
It's not obligatory, and like a lot of them wouldn't even qualify.
Yeah.
So in the class that you guys were in, there were 12, counting you. There were 8 other kids.
Right.
So it's not every kid. It's just
Well, yeah, Graham was interested in doing it because he could not assess the risk, and it just sounded like the stories.
Yeah.
And then, the training's difficult, and he's like, "There's nothing, I don't want to be doing this." And then we're on these adventures, and they're all horrible. And he's like, "I'm not the right guy." So he's actually kind of the mind that a mistake was made.
Oh, I got you.
In over his head.
Yeah, that. So he just feels inadequate the whole time. So I'll be like, "Dad, are you all right? You're looking at me funny."
Yeah, I'm just proud of you, son, and I'm glad you're back. So he claps you on the shoulder, and knowing your dad, then you know when he's done talking.
Okay,
You know when the conversation's over.
it's like a lot like Casimir.
What's that?
He's a lot like Casimir.
Except I beat on you more.
So Rowan, your mother shows up, and she comes and hugs you, right?
Okay.
And she starts saying motherly things like, "You look stronger, but you look skinny. You're not eating enough. I brought you," so she brings you some. She's got some food she hands you, right?
When was the last
Which-
time you bathed?
Why she had that, and how would she have possibly known you're getting back here at this moment in time? But yeah, she fusses with your armor and straightens out your medallion and does that. But she's like really excited that you're back. And she said, after the business with the council, come see us. Your father and I would love to see you. You are an only child.
Okay.
Time to erase those siblings that you had written down.
Well, I'll be kind of a little bit distant. That's just kind of how my character is. He doesn't interact with other people very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kind of like, as she's fussing with my armor, I'll like take her hands and kind of push them away and say,
Yeah.
thank you, and I will.
Yeah, and she knows you and she's used to it, so she doesn't take any offense at it. All right.
Just makes her do it even more.
Casimir, what's your AC, flat-footed AC?
I believe it would be 17.
Your family attacks you upon meeting.
You haven't
Now
taken
we
out
know.
the trash in weeks.
Now we know why I'm so abusive towards you.
All right, so you're walking along, and you're sort of in the front of the group, just behind Mayor Cinti, and a rock clangs off your helmet, like you hear the right. Doesn't cause, well, it causes 1 subdual damage. So you turn to see, but you don't see anybody. Do a spot.
There it is.
Yeah, so you turn, like you felt it hit your head, so you know the general direction, but you don't see anybody over there.
Hmm.
But it reeks of something your little brother would do.
Or Graham.
Or Graham, yeah. And Fenrith, you actually are an orphan. Both
That's
both
pretty close to what I had actually written down as my backstory.
both of your parents actually died within a week of each other, about 6 months before you ascended to hero. Right. They were old and sick. It wasn't like some mysterious thing. But, so yeah, you're an orphan and an only child. So no parents or family comes up to you, but you do see.
The farmer wanting his mule back.
No, you guys gave them. Yathlani Aladurk. Yathlani Aladurk is a elven woman. She approaches you, and she's dressed in like clothing that sets her apart. Long robes made of an odd material that looks very soft and clean. She's got a gold, not a giant wrapper chain, but a gold chain around her neck. She wears this interesting headdress that incorporates, things dealing with the sun and, but also with like materials found on the island, like some shells and stuff like that. But she's well known in the village because she is, without a doubt, the most beautiful woman that there is. Right. But so that's what she's known for. And also that she's sort of a hermit. She lives in an old stone building that's about an hour and a half walk northeast of the village. It's the only building anywhere made out of stone. And she lives out there. But she approaches you, and she's got like this I know something smile on her face. And so she puts her hand on your arm there, right? And so your heart starts beating, right? Because she's so beautiful and everything. But she says, if you have time, come see me after the business at the council is concluded.
I'll kind of awkwardly mumble some type of an agreement, just nod vigorously.
Okay.
But also kind of detach from that situation quickly, just nerves, right?
Okay. Yeah, so she carries on as if that was just one of many errands she had to complete this day. Let's see, what do we've got? So as you're getting closer to the council hall, this was a longhouse sort of structure. It was about 40 feet long and 20 feet wide, and it had a wraparound porch and the big double doors on the west side and then a smaller door on the northeastern side. And it has windows with thick shutters that are open right now because it's really good weather. And so that's the building that you are headed to. You can see ahead of you that some council members are walking in right now. And then, let's see.
Did the any damage that was done from like the ravens the orcs when all this first started, has that been repaired?
Oh yeah.
And I know that we had stopped back at the
They
Hero
even put
House.
the bell back up in its tower.
Okay.
Yeah, the people of Cradle are very industrious and hard workers, and they don't leave tasks to be completed very long. All right, so so you guys file into the building, and there's like I said, they got the shutters open so the sunlight comes in. It's much too warm for the fire in the massive fireplace on the one end, but people are starting to sit around the table. Nazus stops on the porch, and he'll give one of you a questioning look on if he's supposed to come in or not. He's still carrying this human in his arms. It doesn't seem
Still wrapped in my cloak.
yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't seem bothered by the burden.
I'll give Nazus a nod. But yeah.
Okay. So when you get in there, and then you can see out the window on the east side, you look right down onto the village green, and you can see your birds there. They've finished their meal, and people are starting to like slowly try to get closer. But then Casimir's bird snaps at one, not like close to him, but just a quick snap of her beak, and everybody scatters back to keep their distance. So
Probably sounds like a gunshot.
right, yeah. It's a simple message that was well received by the people there. They don't want people getting too close to them. So, but there is this massive carcass, sitting in there, sharp cartilage and teeth left over on the village green. But So, after not long at all, 'cause it's not a large village, the rest of the council arrives and they all take their seats. Some people had followed you and they want to like come in too, but the mayor pushes them back out and closes the door and says, "Go on about your business. We'll tell you what happens." And then she calls the meeting to begin and says, "This is a momentous occasion. You must tell us what has transpired."
Well, I'll take the lead on it, and let's see, go into explanation. Where from when we left last time, after bringing word back that the old heroes had died. We went to the cliffs, and we went into the dwarven ruins, just full of undead, and found the legendary resting place of the original heroes. And let's see, there was we got some more information on what we would need to reach. Can't remember what the name of that dang isle.
The Isle of Penance.
Yeah, Isle of Penance, which turns out to be the rocks. We got lost in a maze, sorry, and we met this Minotaur, who we rescued from the maze, and the human also was.
And then under your breath, we possibly also realigned the planes and have started a catastrophic event.
Yeah, I'm going to save that. Towards the end is that we've started something. We're not sure exactly what, but I'll describe the pedestal and what we did to it as sliding that or shifting that back into place. So we don't know if. We're undecided if that means that we're going to be reintegrated into the real world, or if that is going to come here. But things are changing in a way that it's not going to be easy to predict.
Maybe,
yeah. we're still unsure. But we definitely need to make sure that nobody goes beyond. You need to make sure that we set some type of guard. If things are coming from these other places, just with what we've seen, and even if not, if any of the stuff that was in there can get out, you don't want to be taken unawares by it.
Fenrith, tell him to be on the lookout for an invisible ogre.
Oh yeah, there's that too. There's a mage or a magic user that we had an encounter with, and we defeated his minions, but not him, and he escaped the labyrinth.
He could be here right now.
What's that?
There was also that vampire that could potentially be around as well.
That's true too. So there's a couple dangers that are in our world right now that we know of. But yeah, and people need to be on the set an actual watch, be on the lookout, and investigate anything that, even if it seems ridiculous, right? People acting strange, things like that, is I think that you should look into. But now that we have what we need, obviously our next step is to try and get to the Isle of Penance.
As he's explaining everything, I kind of want to be observing all the council members and the mayor. The whole them being younger than when we left thing is kind of weirding me out.
Yeah, well, it's uniform. I mean, it's universal. All of them are younger, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I just kind of want to keep an eye on them, see if they're acting strange or out of character from what I know of them.
Well, this is the second time. Last time we were here, they were starting to de-age.
Yeah. Now it's much more pronounced.
I'm not.
So, like in Mayor Cinti's case, she was in the latter years of her life in the beginning, now you'd be hard pressed to say what age she is. She's in that middle-aged space where you wouldn't be able to say, is she 25 or is she 40? You wouldn't be able to say. But their the personalities seem unchanged. There is the couple, the man and the woman that are married, that are legendary for their arguments, and they're on the council, and they're arguing. They were arguing on the way to the council hall, and then when you finish telling your tale, the man says, "Seems like everything you've done has just caused more trouble." And then the woman immediately is like, "Well, what do you know about it? They're heroes and they've got stuff to be about." And he says, "Well, what do you know about it?" And that's normal. So even though they look younger now, their personalities all seem to be the same.
Okay.
Didn't we kind of connect that to the return of our Elven?
Yeah. I think
Traits
last
and
time
whatnot,
is what we started to realize. It's the last time we were back. Yeah, I'm not gonna go heavy on the horror show that was the end part of that labyrinth. Not the hallway necessarily, but the all the dwarves and elves and everything else being tortured throughout by those orcs. So as I got, I'll mention that we saw some pretty horrible things. Definitely opened our eyes to how cruel these other worlds are.
Right, so when you finish your tale, so the mayor looks to each of you and says, "Do any of you have anything to add?"
The ogre freezes people to death.
Yes, let's talk about that ogre some more. What exactly is an ogre?
Well, I'll give a physical description.
We have
All
the
right.
Monster Manual book,
Yeah.
so just read from it.
I'll give them the physical description of it. About this tall. Built like this, using the Minotaur as an example, right?
Right.
For their size and everything, and then let them, and then just tell it's one of those cruel wicked beings that we ran into. So if you see it, you don't expect any kindness. You won't find it.
One of the councilmen says, "Surely we have nothing he wants. Why would he come here?"
To inflict harm.
To hurt you. That's it. That's all he wants.
Another one says, I don't know what to do with the knowledge that there are those out there that want to cause harm just for the sake of it."
Well, just be vigilant against it as much as you can.
Yeah, watch out for an invisible ogre, everyone.
That can fly. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
If I were him, I would attack us where we're weak or when we're weak.
If I were him, I would attack us right now.
I'd wait till we're asleep.
Well, if he's listening, I would want him to attack us right now.
But I'll kind of put it in another analogy, saying that cats in the forest hunt. This thing hunts us. It's what it does. It's its instincts.
And I'll also ask Nazus if he has any more input on it, and try and bring him into the conversation at this point. So he might have more information than honestly we do at this point on this. Being he was fighting against it for ages.
Yeah, he told us its name.
Yeah, so Breekirk is its name. And so he starts talking, and he describes having fought this particular ogre many, many, many times. And he tries to explain how things worked where he was, but you can see by the looks on people's faces that they're not picking up what he's trying to say about dying and coming back in different planes or whatever. But they're also all noticeably nervous looking at him, so they don't press him for any more information. And then one of them, finally, the cantankerous one, he's like, "What are we to do with you then? You can't live here." And then a couple others are like, "Well, why can't he live here?" And then there's a little argument. Takes a while to die down. But then Mayor Sinti says, it is a good question. What will we be doing with you?
Well, I would caution you from sending him away. He's a powerful ally to have here if he's not able to continue on with us.
Yeah, so he steps in there and he says, well, I can tell you one thing I could do here. I've seen most of the people who live in this village, and there's not a fighter among you. The only ones you have are constantly out and about on their tasks. And he points to you guys. And he said, I could definitely train some people. At least to know not to stab yourself.
That'd probably be the best idea if you didn't want to get frozen by an invisible flying ogre.
Build us an army, Nazus.
Worthy of that.
Right, so the conversation goes on until mid-afternoon. And back and forth questioning and bringing up ideas or whatever. And finally, there's a vote, and the council decides that Nazus can stay. They'll ask for volunteers to help build him a home because he's too big to live in any of the homes that are here. Nazus says he can train anybody who's interested in learning the basics of fighting in case the village comes under attack. And then they decide that there's going to be a celebration on the village green this very night to celebrate your return and your success. So that's what the mayor says. Come back to the green tonight, ready to party.
Let's get down.
I'd prefer not to. We need to prepare.
Well, it carries a little bit more weight than a suggestion from the mayor. Right.
Now we have to be politicians.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Was
Part of the office.
was there any type of like standing sick house here in the village? No.
No.
All right. I am going to ask.
It actually would be the council hall when it's not in use.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to explain that this human was under some type of magic spell that turned him into something, right? It's difficult to explain exactly what he was before, but there was an item that we found that changed him back into human form, and he's been unconscious since. So he's going to need somebody to watch him, and I don't know what he's going to do when he wakes up, honestly.
I'll watch him. Leave him at the hero house.
Okay.
Well, the mayor says that actually the best candidate for watching him, at least after you guys leave.
Zeus.
No. Yathlane, the woman who came and talked to you.
I'll talk to her about it.
She's like the closest that there is to a healer
Okay.
in the village.
But for tonight, leave him at the hero house, and I'll watch him.
Okay.
All right. So people start dispersing so they can start making their preparations. And the mayor goes out onto that ledge there where you can look down into the green. And she starts telling people there's going to be a festival, a celebration tonight. Everybody bring food and drink and be prepared to dance to celebrate the success of our heroes. And, there's a cheer, and then people they disperse to go about the tasks that they have for the festival. So what do you do?
I immediately go back to the hero house and start working on transcribing spells into my spell book.
All right. And Zeus will follow you with that human.
All right.
Because he says, I don't have anywhere else to go. People keep staring at me. It's making me nervous.
Yeah, I'll give him a quick tour and show him where he can, maybe stay for the night if need be. I think maybe the dojo or whatever it was, the training room might be big enough for him.
Yeah, it's plenty big, yeah. All right. Graham, what do you do?
I'll tag along because if I remember correctly, we're probably still covered in mimic.
Yeah,
goo.
you're all pretty filthy.
So I'll go get a bath and a change of clothes, get into my festival clothes.
Not a bad idea, actually. Can't study stinking mimic guts.
Okay, Rowan.
I'm not even going to think about how filthy I am. I told my mom I'd go see her.
I think you're the only one who avoided the mimic
Yeah.
Yeah,
explosion.
Yeah.
Visceral
Fenrir.
spray.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go get cleaned up, especially if I'm going over to that one lady's house. As I'll need you have you spell her name out because I couldn't think of how to write it down.
we were in there
Okay.
for, what, like
TT.
2 weeks
It is
of our time.
I think so.
YATHLANAE. And then Olaydark is her last name. OLAYDARK.
And then the lost time was long enough to be very thirsty.
Yeah, so was that day 2? 2
Yeah,
days?
somewhere in there.
But yeah, I'm not gonna wear festival gear as I actually like the look of the armor.
That is your festival gear.
Okay, I was gonna say is
That's the
I think that he'd be a little vain at this point because I mean I do
that's the uniform of your office. It's actually bad manners to not be wearing it out in public.
so I'll bathe and clean it, polish it up.
Okay.
If there's a runner that or somebody that I could use as a runner, though, I want to give them the couple pieces of gold that I had to take to the jeweler who I had apprenticed under.
Okay, hang on. All right, so Ron's going to his mom's house, and the rest of you are going to the Euro home. All right, give me 1 second then.
Oh no, he's got a lightsaber.
The home of the heroes feels like an empty shell now. I gotta go take that away from him.
Yeah.
He's there he goes, swinging it around.
Well, thankfully, he usually doesn't fight you unless you have one, too.
Yeah.
And then it gets dangerous.
At least he's an honorable combatant.
He's got 2 of them.
Now that's pod racing.
You see, it's funny. You go to the toy store, you buy the kids the toys that like make noise or light up or do something, and then after a while, like usually a few days, you end up taking them away because of that same noise that you thought was a good idea in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just disabling it completely. Like that little car, I remember Heather on that thing would just, it got so annoying, man.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at Travis and Mariah's resilience because they don't seem to do that yet.
I get annoyed at all the noise.
Well, disable it or do something.
Well, like
Take the batteries
that
out.
thing is probably not as bad. Like with the, I know
I'm
with
talking
that-
about all of his other toys.
Oh, yeah. It's the things that like, either say something or sing a song that they just like pound on over and over and over again 50,000 times.
He definitely does that, but he's so erratic about it that he's kind of rotating through everything.
See, that wouldn't be bad.
So it doesn't happen long
It's
enough.
an hour of the same sound
But then again,
that
I'm not ever trying to like sleep when he's doing that, so it might be different from Chris's perspective, where you're like trying to nod off and
Oh, no, like it doesn't annoy me at all.
No.
I block out all that stuff.
The toys that I always hated were the ones that would make noise just randomly.
yeah.
Like, you would turn
When you
them on.
weren't playing with them.
Yeah, like an hour after they were done playing with
spooky.
them, like Elmo would pop up, "Come tickle me" or something like that.
he's got one that has like one of those, they're like little wire tracks that you can move things around, but it has farm animal sounds. And it'll do like E-I-E-I-O or whatever. but the batteries are dying. And it just went off one time when I was out here on my, like in the morning, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
Horror movie. Engaged.
Out comes the holy water.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you three and Nazus get to the home of the heroes, you are surprised to find that the door is locked.
All right, check it for traps and open it, Graham.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you get up there and you go to open it, but it's locked, and so you shake it a little bit, but it's not opening.
So after as long as we just spent doing this,
Yeah, I suppose it's like a...
second nature should be.
Yeah, I don't even think about it. I go into the Graham routine.
Okay.
I'll search it for traps.
All right.
Sorry, I gotta pull up my character sheet.
I guess I'll automatically take a couple steps back and watch
Yeah.
out for enemies on our 6.
Yeah, I'll
If we
be
don't
off to
start
the
watching
side.
him, he's going to start trapping the doors.
I'm fine with that.
Well, it's not trapped, and so you're looking it over to see if it's trapped, and then you're wondering, like, what is going on here? Why would somebody trap our door? But then the door opens, and a finely dressed, stuffily dressed, middle-aged man stands there, and he says, "Welcome home, good masters. I am Folwyn, your new butler."
Oh, we don't like locked doors around here, Fall.
So he steps aside and says, "Please come in. I've cleaned up. I'll draw you a bath." He looks, and he looks at Nazus, and he says, "I'm not sure he's going to fit through the door."
Where was the training room? Was it?
It's the first floor, and it's off to the right. He
Is there
will
a-
fit through
okay.
the door. He's just reacting, but that's the extent of his reaction to this giant minotaur. So what's striking is that his mannerisms are almost exactly like Jeeves used to be. He's just younger. So
Eerily like Jeeves.
This
Well-
is like one of those really lazy movie things where they kill off a character and
Yeah.
bring back the exact same character.
The Fresh
Again.
Prince mom.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Folwyn.
Folwyn. Folwyn. We'll need some clothes for the unconscious human.
Ah, yes, I'll see to it right away. Please, just big fellow, set him down over there, and I'll get some clothes.
Folwyn, this is Nazus. Folwyn.
He does like a bow. He's always got his hands behind his back at all times, even to use his hands.
Even if we're flanking him, we can't see his hands.
But he stands very stiff and proper, and says, "Please, nice to meet you, Nazus. I'm Folwyn. Set him down over there in the practice area, and I will see to some clothes, and I will see to some baths, and you must give me the clothes you're wearing, and I will destroy them." And with that, he just starts going about his business as if he's known you guys forever. So yeah, he goes about his tasks, and in short order, he's getting baths ready for you guys. And he's brought some clothes down for that human and puts them on him so you can have your cloak back.
Well, just as Casimir is introducing or showing Nazus around, I'll be showing Bloodtooth around, describing the various functions of the rooms as I go through them.
This is where we found that weird skull in my room.
Hey, Folwyn, I'm Graham. Nice to meet you.
Right.
Shing, this is Bloodtooth.
Yeah, so you get the sense that Bloodtooth is listening, but he doesn't give any responses.
He probably doesn't like peace time very much. Gonna start getting sneak attack withdrawals. He'll start whispering to me.
All right. So, you're going to take baths and get yourself cleaned up. You were going to transcribe some spells. What are
Yeah.
you doing, Fenrir?
I'll be cleaning and polishing armor after the bath, and I'll check on the guy again as well, see if anything's changed. Do you want me to do the heal check?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, nothing's changed that you can detect. He just seems unconscious. He's got a strong pulse. He's breathing just fine. He doesn't have any visible wounds.
Okay.
Hey, Fenrit, ever since that vampire attacked me, I haven't felt 100%.
Hmm.
Do you think you can fix that?
Yeah. I'll,
Do you think you can cast Greater Restoration to fix that?
Something those other heroes' memories told me of.
I think you might have recently acquired that level of spell.
Isn't that right, Bloodtooth?
Stab him. I can see his kidneys.
I like the idea of that, kind of like Deadeye and
Right.
RDR2. You see like the brain.
it'll have to be tomorrow. I didn't have that one prepared, but
No, that's fine.
yeah.
Don't think I can wait that long.
It's just 1 point, and it will have no immediate effect, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put my level 8 attribute increase. Might be there.
I'd say the immediate effect would having you one more ability score away from the grave
That's true.
is a good immediate effect to have. Constitution drain's no joke.
Absolutely. I got down to, from my original 16, or no, 15, all the way down to 11 or something like that.
Fun.
From damage and drain. I think it's that poison was doing damage.
Okay, Ron, you're going to your home. What did I say to you? I already forgot.
His mom's
Yeah,
house.
my mom came and said she wanted me to come by.
What did I say about the rest of your family?
Said I was an only child.
Did I mention your father?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Here, let's make sure. All right. So your mom lives sort of on the outskirts of the village, on the northern edge of the village.
Makes sense.
And yeah, so when you get there, everything looks as you remembered it. She's very attentive, and so the all the bushes and flowers are well manicured, and the home looks nice, and she's happy to see you, and so she gives you a hug, and she's in the middle of cooking because she's going to take some food to the festival, but she's very good at multitasking, so she talks to you while she's doing that, but she just asks the normal things like, is it true what I've heard that you've been fighting this and fighting that and this almost happened and that, blah, blah, blah.
And
Just catching up,
I'll take up some sort of mundane cooking task, chopping onions or something like that while we talk.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean that's why she wanted you to come. She just misses you. When you became a hero, it was like the best thing that had ever happened in her life. She was so happy, and she was getting on in years then, and to the point where you'd started to get old enough where you reach an age where you're able to think about other people besides yourself, and it had gotten to the point where you were starting to worry, what's she going to do with the rest of her life? She just lives by herself now that you're gone, and then so you'd worry about the normal stuff you'd worry about, like, is she going to hurt herself doing the chores that a man would do? Is she going to get lonely, whatever. But now she looks, like she could be 25, right? Things have reversed for her as well. She's got a spring in her step, a lot more happiness. The lines are gone, so now, she's a beautiful woman, and she seems to be having a good life, and she's definitely really happy to see you. But she does the motherly thing where she gives advice on things that she can't possibly know about. Like when you're in a fight, make sure, that you got a full stomach, whatever, that sort of stuff.
Clean underwear.
Yeah, and I'll be kind of downplaying the danger, as kids do. Just kind of saying it wasn't quite as dangerous as all that. Yeah, we were being attacked, but
We're invincible.
yeah, kind of.
Childhood invincibility.
Right.
Yeah, making it sound less like we were surviving by the skin of our teeth most of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask her what it feels like to be getting younger.
Right. So, that's the first time that she actually stops talking, right? She's real talky, but when you ask her that, she's like there was quite a commotion around here when people started realizing what was going on, and nobody knows why it's happening. And the council met with the mayor, and the mayor came out and she fed us some story they'd concocted, having something to do with the ash from Angry Mountain. Nobody believes it. Nobody knows what's happening. I can't deny that it has its benefits, but what does it mean? Like, when will it stop? What's going to happen to us? Nobody knows. Everybody's on edge about it. So what do? We do the only sane thing. We just don't talk about it. But my hands don't hurt anymore because she had started to get arthritic.
Yeah.
There's that. I can dance for a lot longer, as you'll see tonight.
And so that's good. And
I don't suppose you know why that's happening, because it didn't happen until you lot set out on your first adventure.
I'll say
Perhaps she should meditate on it.
we've come across a lot of strange things as we've traveled. There's more magic and unusual situations than I can even begin to describe that we've found, and we seem to make it through, and we are hopefully making things better. So trust in the heroes.
Well, she considers what you say, and after a few moments, she nods her head as if that's good enough for her, and she goes back to cooking the food that she's going to take to the feast.
Okay.
So that's what she'll be doing until it's time for the festival. Although she does insist that you need a bath and you need to change your clothes.
Okay, it's probably not the first time she's ever had to say that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's probably something in the house or nearby the house that I can do that with, so I'll do that there. But just before I leave to take a bath, I will tell her it's good to see you again.
Yeah, so she gives you a hug, and she says, "I've got work to do. Shoo, I'll see you at the festival tonight." And then you set out, and so you're the only one that's outside to sea when your rocks take off out of the village green and head out to sea. And what else? So that's another thing you notice. So like the village is situated on pretty rocky ground, but it's not pure rock. So there's still soil, and people have gardens. Just about everybody has a garden, and trees manage to grow and bushes manage to grow. And your mom's house is like a rainbow exploded. There's flowers of different kinds everywhere, all around the outside of her house. All the bushes seem greener. All the colors seem more colorful. It seems to grow thicker there around your mom's house. That's just something you notice as you're leaving.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody want to do anything else before it's time for the festival, the celebration?
I'd like to, excuse me, I'd like to go to Lana's house, like she had asked.
Well,
Did she give me like a specific time, like a later type thing, or
yeah, later.
Oh, okay.
Not today.
not? Okay, yeah. I'll pretty much just visit the library and the jeweler, as I'll give him that gold and silver that I had for him.
Yeah, he doesn't live too far away. He's pretty happy to see you, and he says, "Oh, this is good. This is good gold. Sort of stuff they used to find back when the mine was up and running." He says,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like 150 years, so he doesn't really know, but he's the kind of person who, once he's decided he believes a thing, nothing else could possibly be true. So he just goes with whatever it is. And so he knows for a fact that they used to bring good gold out of that mine. Everybody else knows they actually got iron, but he knows gold. And he says it's good, and he thanks you for it. You can see he's busy. He's got a lot of work lined up, and he's bouncing around between the different pieces or whatever.
What about this ruby?
Yeah, I was gonna make mention of ask him, what type of things would you do with a ruby that was if there's anything roughly the size that I can find along the way. right? As I don't want to take it at all, but like a big rock, right? It's like, what if if I had like something like this, like what are the things you can do with that?
Ha! First of all, rubies don't get that big. Second, well, because they don't have enough space to grow that big. And second, it's impractical. I mean, who's going to wear that around? I just cut it up into a bunch of little smaller ones.
Okay.
Maybe make some dust out of it. Ruby dust. That would look pretty neat. Ruby dust glued to some paper. Something like that.
Okay. He's worked with wood all of his life. So,
He's actually a 5-year-old in arts and
yeah.
crafts class.
Well, it might not be too far the way everyone's de-aging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this is essentially going to be a town from like Children of the Corn, except less murdery, maybe.
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 Once Nazuth trains them all, then
Yeah.
maybe exactly the
Got to
same.
sacrifice something to the road, or he who walks the roads, wherever the heck it was. Can't remember.
It'll be an autocracy when we get back.
But other than that, I'll do the normal, start trying to go about any of the normal business that we would have when we were home. Go through, check on people, see if they need any help.
Yeah, so everybody you come across is just getting ready for the festival. So let's say the festival, the celebration is to start at like 5. What would be 5? So it's about an hour before that. So you're done with all your bathing and you're redressed and you've got clean clothes when there's a really loud, insistent rap at the door. So Folwyn goes to open it. Like you can even hear the knocking from upstairs. Folwyn goes to open it. But then after a few moments, you hear him come up the stairs and he knocks on your door.
All right. Yeah, I'll open it.
He says, forgive me, Master Casimir, but a young boy that claims a relation to you is at the front door. He looks like he could use a bath as well.
Hmm.
Hang on. Let me find where I wrote his name. Right. So he says his name is Caradir, and that's your younger brother. You have twin younger brothers.
Hmm.
Both of them are 13. And, yeah, that's what he says. Caradir's down there.
So is this the elder or the younger?
Yeah, well, they don't know. Like, they don't know. That's an argument between the two of them. What happened was your dad told Caradir he was the oldest, and your mom told Eldored he was the oldest. And they did that on purpose. So now the two argue about it all the time.
Yeah.
Parents are jerks.
Well, your whole family is really sort of that way, playful, jokey.
Yeah.
You're like the odd one.
Well, the way I picture Casimir is he wants to be like that, but he's kind of wasting his childhood pretending to be more mature than he is.
Right.
I figure as he ages, he'll probably become more immature than...
Yeah.
But right now, he's trying to put up a mature front.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll head on down there.
Okay. Yeah, so when you get down there, Caradir, he's like bouncing from foot to foot, and he's like, Casimir, Dad fell down and broke his leg. You got to come. And he starts running down the way. But he stops and looks back, and he's like, come on, Dad broke his leg. Right? So do a sense mode.
Do I get any pluses for that?
Familial bonus.
Yeah, you get a +4.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Dang it.
Right. So you can tell, like, he's not giving you the full story, but you can't tell why. Right. So, but he's like, come on, Dad broke his leg.
All right. Well, I'll start running. I'll run home. And I got the boots of springing and striding, so...
Okay. All right. So what happens is you activate those, and then you
They're
shoot.
always active.
Right. Okay. Those. Yeah. Not the haste hunt. Okay. Yeah. So you go tearing out there down the steps, and you hear something hit the ground, hit the porch behind you, and you look back, and Elred, he threw a net at you that would have hit if you'd walked out the door. But now he's just like, oh, and then he's laughing, and Caradir, he's laughing, but he's also like, man, how did you get so fast?
Use your net.
But they're both laughing, right? Because this was a prank they were trying to play. And...
While he's talking, I'll charge him and trip him.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, you don't have any issue doing that. We're not going to roll for it.
And then I'll trip Elred.
Yeah, Elred. Yeah.
Yeah, and every time they try to get up, I'll just trip them again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they're laughing about it, right? Because those two worship you. They're not like the little brothers that would like go tell. They always wanted to be like you.
Yeah.
Hear your stories and have you teach them stuff.
I guess I'll also make note that I'm not taking the attack of opportunity that occurs when I trip.
I'll stab you, kid.
But yeah, after a while, I'll, kind of start laughing and give up. Or not give up, but stop and all. Kind of like nonchalantly. Like, which one of you threw the rock? It was a good throw.
And they both point at each other.
I'll trip them both.
But anyway, eventually they're like, well, can we come in? Can we hear what happened? Hear from some stories?
Yeah, you can come in. Don't touch anything.
Okay, yeah. So they come in, and they're both talking at the same time, excitedly asking questions. Can I ride on your bird? Where did you get a bird? Dad didn't really break his leg.
Okay.
So that was a lie. I threw the rock, Elred says. But Caradir says, no, I threw it. I threw it because it hit you. And so they argue about it. But they're just boisterous teenage boys, They seem happy to see you. They say that Dad didn't break his leg, but he's in another one of his moods lately. So they don't even know if he's going to come to the celebration. So your father, when you were young, just before you went to train as a hero, he had an accident out on a fishing boat where he drowned.
Oh, yeah. He's got some brain damage going on or something.
Yeah, well, he was different when he came back. It's not like he's slow. He's still, as smart as he was and he knows things. But yeah, his brain was damaged, and so he has trouble with his temper and his moods sometimes. But yeah, so anyway, that's what they do. And that's, they hang out just pestering you with questions and, asking you to teach them how to fight and things like that until festival time.
Yeah, I'll say I have some stuff that I need to prepare real quick, and I'll show them to the training area.
Yeah,
where Nazus is.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that's the end of their attention on you, because as soon as they see him, it's worlds apart.
Mm-hmm.
This is much better than boring older brother now. So they start pestering him with questions after they feel comfortable that he's not dangerous, right? But he's got this amazing armor, with all this scroll work and this axe that's 8 feet 12 feet long. So and then they see the human, and then they're back to you. Something's wrong with that guy's ears.
Do I know that he's a human?
You do.
From the older memory.
Yeah, it's it's stories and old memories.
Yeah, so he's a human.
Yeah, so they're blown away by that, because for them, it's the same as all the stories. It's just stories, But
we've encountered dwarves too.
Yeah, he's kind of ugly, Elred says.
Yeah,
and he's not. He's just old, graying hair. He wouldn't be considered ugly for a human.
Well, I guess I'll say something that, maybe one of the older memories is kind of more triggered than the other ones, where it's because they're a frail, short-lived race. They can't help it. They're not like us.
Yeah. Okay.
But it would be kind of weird, I guess, when Casimir would think about that.
Yeah, right. Like you say it and you don't know how you know that or what it means exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but then they start talking to Nazus and asking him what he is, and then they start asking him successively, what can he lift? Could you lift this? Well, could you lift that? Or could you lift that? That sort of thing. Yeah, so anyway, that's what's going on. They hang out until it's time for the festival.
Yeah, well, gather the stuff I need. I won't be able to do it today because it takes a day per spell.
Yeah.
But I'll start gathering any and all materials I need for scribing into a spell book.
Okay.
And if I can hopefully find enough to do that, it's kind of expensive gold piece wise. So I'm hoping that the ingredients costs can kind of be covered here.
Oh, yeah.
Once I'm done with that, I'll train, I'll take a trident or an axe off the wall or something, or, start having them go through the motions.
Teaching them some basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess technically, if I'm like an actual fighter, I'm trained in
Oh, yeah.
a bunch of stuff, so I'll let them pick a weapon.
Yeah, you're proficient with all weapons, pretty much, all martial weapons.
Yeah. I'll show him how to throw, or was it Elred? I'll show him how to throw a net properly.
Yeah. Yeah, because he does it like fishing, and it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he picks that up pretty quick.
And for the most part, I'll try to leave Nazus alone, like try to sort of keep them away from him if it looks like he's being bugged. If he looks fine, I'll let them kind of do whatever they want. And then towards the end of the night, I'll show them, like some quick, like real simple cantrip level spells, like light. I'll make light happen.
Yeah.
Show them how to do it.
Yeah, that blows their minds. They can't believe that. Okay, Graham, what about you?
So after I get all washed and dressed, if I didn't get enough time, it didn't seem like I had enough time to really visit with my family before we went to the council house. So probably what I'll do is go visit with them and then go with them as a family to the gathering.
Yeah, well, okay, so you get there to your home, and your family's home is actually next to Casimir's family home, and it's on the eastern side of the village. It's one of the closest homes to the downward path that leads to the beach and the docks where the fishermen go out. Right? And you get there, and they're in the middle of getting ready, and you do have two sisters, and so one of them's 7, the other one's 9, and they absolutely adore you. And so when you get home, your mother's trying to get them ready, but they're too excited about you. So they're fighting her, she's trying to get their nice dress on, whatever. They're fighting her. She's frustrated about it. She wants to come talk to you and whatever, but she's got to get stuff done. And it's a really hectic scene inside there, right? The house is a mess, that sort of thing. Your dad's outside working on a boat. He's got a fishing boat turned over, and he's, doing whatever they do to fishing boats. Put tar in it or whatever.
Yeah, tar in it.
Yeah. Doing that sort of thing. But he nods at you as you get there. So your mom's trying to corral the youngins.
Yeah, I probably don't help in that regard. I get just as excited as them, and then she's got to corral all 3 of us.
Start doing some tumbling.
Right. But I'll be happy to talk about any of my adventures. Being back in the village kind of takes the horror out of it a little bit, and it seems sort of funny that I nearly died all these times. And
yeah,
I imagine by the way I was healed, I have like the very little bits of scars from each one of my many deaths,
right.
I got like these 3 pinkish bits of skin where that one chest got me when I opened it. And
tips of your fingers are slightly discolored.
Hey, look, this one frostbitten, almost frozen to death. And then I see my mom's hair going white again.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. She's horrified to hear that sort of stuff. But your sisters, they're at the age where, that stuff doesn't mean anything to them. They're not excited about the stories of adventures, except they want to hear, did you find any different kind of flowers? Did you find any different kind of trees? Any kind of animals they're interested in?
No. We found a really awesome ruby, though. Not awesome. That's not a word I would use.
It's one of those old memories.
Yeah. It was huge.
You should still have it on you if you want to show them.
No, it's in the bag of holding. I didn't really look out for any flowers. Flowers are kind of stupid anyways. You haven't grown out of those yet?
No, they've got them in their hair. They like flowers.
I had a really neat goblin skull, but I left it back in the place.
Ew. Right, and then there's the questions like, what's a goblin? You know, because they don't know what a goblin is. Whatever. And you can tell them, and they think you're just making up a story,
Yeah.
like they do all the time. Like, you know.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, they're really happy to see you. Eventually, your mom is successful getting them dressed up so they can go to the festival. And so the only changes you notice about your home is that now there's a goat pen with 2 goats. You didn't used to have that.
Oh, when did we get the goats?
Oh,
The dire murder machines.
yeah. Your mom says, "Oh, your pa got those about 6 months ago."
Keep an eye on them.
All right. So then festival. So by the time you get to the village green, it's full of people. There's a great big bonfire and then some smaller fires. People have brought out tarps or, canvas tarps and blankets to sit on. People are already dancing. And there's musicians, people, it's not like their job, but a lot of different people play different instruments or whatever.
Yeah, I'll definitely join in
Yeah.
on that
good.
sort of thing.
Yeah, so you do that. You fit right in. Everybody's really having a good time. You notice again how striking it is that all these the old people that used to be old are now, dancing like teenagers in the village green, seem to not run out of energy. And there's infinite food. Everybody brought some, and so it's like a great big potluck, and people just help themselves to every sort of, fish recipe you can think of. And everybody's having a good time. And the kids, all of the children find a way to pester you guys with questions, asking you about your adventures and if you're going to have another adventure and stuff like that. And then that one kid, there's another that you recognize, asks you again that question of did something like did a demon kill you and take your form or consume your soul and take your form and infiltrate cool. It's this one kid, and he asks you that question when you first got back to the village, and now he asks you again, but it's like he really is fixated on that. If a demon ate your soul,
Is he the weird one? Is he all pallid, dark haired?
My face will lose all expression. I'll say, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, but not just the kids talk to you. Pretty much everybody finds the time to come shake your hand or nod their head at you or tell you they're proud of you and or thank you for what you do, and please be careful out there. And if you ever need anything, let me know, that sort of thing. Just about everybody manages to come and greet you that way at one point or another. And then, it gets nighttime, but it's still bright from the fire and the smaller fires. And it's a clear night, so there's good moonlight. So the party goes on into the night. And at some point, the mayor manages to collect you all and take you off a little ways towards the edge of the green where not a lot of people are. And she, she's got this mild glassiness to her eyes like you get when you drink a lot, right? A mild. It's not like she's drunk or anything.
Yeah.
And her face is flushed. She's been dancing a lot, and it's a hot island. Everybody's sweating. But she finally managed to get you all aside, and she says, I imagine that you won't want to waste too much time before you set out again.
No, we need to leave as soon as possible.
Yeah. I'm glad you agree, because I've been talking with the council and we're all a little concerned about the mountain. We haven't seen it this way in a long time. Matter of fact, I haven't ever seen it this way. And I don't know a lot about magic or different worlds or any of the thing you guys are dealing with, but the mountain started to get angry at about the time that you guys would have put the plate in that pedestal like you said in your story.
So roughly this morning.
Yeah.
And
It had
this was
been
the activate
the
button.
island had been rumbling for quite a while before that, but then suddenly we started seeing smoke and ash and fire on the mountain. So I wish you all could stay longer. The people need their heroes, and they need time with their heroes. But I think events are outpacing us.
They are indeed.
Do you know where you'll go? Have you managed to find any instructions on how to reach the Isle of Penance?
Was that one of those things we weren't supposed to talk about? Or was it just the labyrinth?
I think it was, more the labyrinth.
Okay.
It just didn't go into deep detail on the terrible things in the labyrinth.
Yeah. No, we just know that it's far out to sea. So we'll probably be setting off next couple days, stock up on food, prepare some other stuff, and then begin flying.
Okay. Well, I wish you luck. I'll see you again before you set out. I'm going to go dig through some old things from my father's belongings, and just in case there's something in there that might help.
Thank you.
Yeah, so then, she bows her head and she goes back. And then as time goes on, people start moving away in ones and twos and then larger groups. And, as the festival dies down or the celebration dies down.
Yeah.
One of those things where little kids just fall asleep wherever they happen to get too tired to keep going.
Yep, that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
Parents carrying them home.
Yeah. That or wake them up and then still talk for another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Parents do that, don't they?
Yeah.
I think that was a unique experience there.
I'll probably stay with my family tonight if they'll have me.
Yeah, they will.
But then I don't have very much to do, so I'll go talk to Rohan at the next opportunity. And the next day,
Yeah.
I have a proposition for him.
Right. Yeah. So you go sleep wherever you sleep, and then the next day,
I'll go off to that house if I was supposed to that night.
the next day.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about Yathlani?
Yeah. If she had, I don't know when I'm supposed to do that. And she said later, so if I feel that it's appropriate.
No, I mean,
then-
the sense you got would have been after today, but before you leave again. Right?
Okay. Can I cast some spells into my ring then before the day ends?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a bad idea.
So who's going back to the hero house to sleep?
Me.
I think it would depend on kind of what my brothers want to do, because I kind of like them. So
Yeah. So,
if like Dad's in one of his moods and they don't want to go home, they
Yeah.
can head back to the house with me,
yeah,
the hero house.
your dad didn't make it to the celebration.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they'd love to do that. So they asked their mom, and she says it's fine. She gives you a warning not to take them on any of your adventures.
I'll nod.
And the weather tonight's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a clear night.
Then I'll sleep in the lighthouse again.
All right. Yeah, so when you get back to the hero house, those of you who go, Nazus is sitting in that training room still. Oh, never mind. He's out on the porch, and he's got a pipe. But he's also got like 10 plates stacked up on a little table next to him. And Folwyn has got this like look of barely restrained rage. And he says, I had no idea he would eat this much, and he's been carting food back and forth to this guy. But
It is quite amazing, isn't it?
yeah, it's a lot. But Folwyn says your beds have been made, so I'll be in my quarters if you need anything.
I'll join Nazus and smoke a bowl.
Okay. Yeah, so he doesn't say anything at first, but eventually he does say, you've got a beautiful home here, a beautiful village, a beautiful people. It's nice and peaceful here.
Yeah, I'd like to see it remain that way, but I fear my watch is not the time for that to happen.
Yeah, I get a feeling that a storm's coming. Well, I think I'll stay for a while. And since I'm here, I might as well step in if I see anything getting out of hand.
That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Mostly, I'm just hoping for a chance to kill Breekirk for the final time. And if he shows his face here, I guarantee you his head will be waiting on your bed when you get back.
Better put it on Graham's.
All right. So the night passes. You wake up the next morning. You wake up whether you wanted to or not. You haven't realized it yet. But now you've reached the point of your life where you're trained to get up at a certain point and nothing you ever do will change it. So yeah, after your reverie, yeah, you wake up. The sun's coming up. The seabirds are doing their squawking. It looks like it's going to be another clear day. Some of the fishermen are going out. Some of them are a little behind. So they partied a little too hard. And you can see that off to the side of the home of the heroes, on the eastern side, your rocks are roosting there on the edge of the cliff, looking down at the beach, kind of huddled together, doing that thing that some birds do where it seems like they're half turtle.
I go find Rohan first thing.
Okay.
I was gonna say I gotta go find Graham first thing.
Rohan's
Do
gonna go
this.
somewhere.
Yeah. He's gonna be running from us all day.
Who finds who first?
And then you realize that he was at the lighthouse the entire time.
Well, yeah, I mean, Fenrith would find him first because he sleeps at the lighthouse.
Well, I'm looking for Graham.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm sneaking everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Come on.
I won't be too hard to find. I'm going to be practicing my bow
Yeah.
while using my featherfall ring.
Mm.
So I'm going to be practicing jumping off the top of the lighthouse and firing at targets down on the ground
Okay.
as I fall.
Does time slow for you?
No, unfortunately not.
Well, your slow fall kind of makes you an easier target. So unfortunately, you are moving slower.
Yeah.
Just not everyone else.
Well, that's where you find him, Graham. You can see him as you're heading towards the home of the heroes, floating down out of the sky, shooting arrows at the ground.
Rohan, I've been thinking.
Okay, Graham, what have you been thinking?
Well, I know we're gonna resupply for the next couple of days, but I don't really know how to do that. That seems like something Fenrith does. And I think Casimir, he's got his spells, but that doesn't leave me anything to do, and all you do is stay up here in the lighthouse. So I thought maybe we could go scout and find this Isle of Penance. Or maybe you could ask the rocks. Maybe the rocks know where the Isle of Penance is.
I could ask them.
What do you think?
How about we go talk to them and see?
Okay.
You gonna do talk with animals spell?
Yep.
Okay. So you cast that and you start talking to him, and then what the answer you get is one of confusion and an explanation that the last, like before they turned to stone, there was like land as far as the eye could see off to the west of that peak that they were on. Whereas now it's just the ocean. There was land as far as they could see.
Okay.
But south was still ocean, and they do know of some islands. A few days, it's hard for them to communicate, but sometime flying south.
Okay. So yeah, I'll be translating for Graham as they talk.
Do these rocks have a different kind of personality for each one that Rohan's able to pick up on? Like,
Yeah,
are
they do.
Some angrier or others?
Well, yeah, you can pick up on that. Graham's is like barely contained, like He's sort of a chaotic bird. He's likely to jump off a bridge as cross it, so to speak. Yours, was it yours? No, Fenrith's is real like mother hen, right? And yours is just yours just really likes to be flying. Doesn't like to be sitting still, right? And Casimir's really likes to hunt.
Okay. But yeah,
But Graham's is the only one that's got. It's like he's like a horse that isn't entirely broken yet. You know.
okay. But yeah, I'll translate for Grandma. I'll say, well, I don't know if we can scout ahead. It sounds like it's quite a ways out. If you want to practice flying, I would be more than happy to practice flying with you.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Get on your bird. Let's fly.
Am I able to encounter Graham at all in the morning?
Yeah, you
before
would.
they actually set out.
Yeah, you actually would meet him about where he was talking with Rowan.
So you had said something the other day about not feeling right since the vampire. Yeah, I'd looked in the books in the library, and I think I have something that would work for you.
Okay, what is it?
Well, it's a spell, so just hold still.
Power up.
And I'll no, not that. But I'll do restoration.
Faith healer style. Bam!
Do you still try and use your ring every once in a while?
It's like that scene in Spider-Man when he's first trying to do the webs.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-round, so it's a little bit longer.
It's almost a ceremony.
Yeah. So dispels any magical effects, reducing one of subject's ability scores, also cures all temporary ability damage, and it restores all points permanently drained from a single ability score. Your choice if more than one is drained. It eliminates any fatigue or exhaustion suffered by the target as well.
He makes a mistake and the dent in your head pops out.
It also dispels negative levels and restores 1 experience level to a creature who is level drained. Don't think we need to worry about that.
Yeah,
now,
so
though.
you get your Constitution score back.
And you're not hungover.
Thanks, Fenrith.
Yeah.
I feel much better.
Yeah, so it's about this time that you're feeling much better that Folwyn comes out and he's dragging this something that looks really heavy, sort of a blocky looking object. And, he's sweating. And so he stops and he looks and he says, Master Graham, I don't know why Jeeves kept this old junk. I'd like to throw it away. What do you think? So it's like wrapped in this old leather, cloth. And he pulls it aside and it's basically, it's like a pedestal sort of, with a bowl in it. And then there's a hole next to the bowl. And it's got like scroll work and engravings on it. It looks like nothing you've ever seen before. But like something flashes in your head, something familiar about it. Right? And so you go racking your memories and you remember, not in your own memory, but that if you put your ring of Ram in the bowl, it should recharge it.
Don't throw that out, Folwyn. If Jeeves kept it, it must be good for something. I just can't quite remember. Wait a second. Take my ring off. Put it in there.
Yeah, so you put it in there, and you don't know what you're expecting, like a flash of light or anything, but nothing happens. And you remember that's because you're supposed to put gold or jewels in the hole.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Fenrith, there you are. Come on over here.
So what did you need, Graham?
I need you to put gold in here.
All right. We have 27 gold that's in the bag of holding right now. So I'll start dropping gold coins into it.
Okay. Yeah, so you start dropping gold coins into it, and it starts shaking, and this like bright red and green smoke starts puffing out of it. It's shaking like a washing machine, right? Vibrating on the floor. Full One's like all the way on the other side of the room looking at it. And then one more little puff of smoke, and then it goes quiet.
Your ring is now spicy.
Spicy.
How
ring.
big is this thing?
It's like as big as a dishwasher, maybe.
Hmm.
It's pretty big.
How much does it
So you don't
weigh?
recognize it, right?
Yeah.
He must have had it in his store, one of the storerooms or something. Who knows how long? But Graham just saw it and suddenly had a memory, you know. So, anyways, there's your ring of Ram sitting on there.
Well, I'll pick it up.
Well, you know it's got one charge now.
How many coins did I put in for that? Was it just one?
No, all of them.
Oh, okay. Well,
So, I mean, you know, it eats a lot of. It would use a lot of gold to recharge it to back what it was when you first got it.
do you want to stuff the ruby in there?
I
can
can
break it
no.
Well, I can break it.
We got to keep the ruby.
Okay.
But look, Fenrith. Power up! Oh, no! Anyhow, you remember how my ring, it didn't work anymore?
Yeah.
Now it works a little bit.
A little bit.
I think if we collect all the gold we see from now on, we can recharge our rings in here.
Okay.
Did I have the idea that it was other magic items that had charges?
Well, I mean, for you, it's you just know that like your ring and some wands have charges.
Right.
So that's the idea that comes to your head that
You have
if it
your
works for
circlet of
one, it
blasting,
should work
right?
for others.
Yeah,
Um,
but that I use that once per day.
Oh.
So full ones like very well. We'll keep it then. Apparently, it's of some use.
How much does it weigh?
Well, it's pretty heavy. It weighs 200 pounds.
Could we get it into the bag? Does the bag of holding
No,
widen to get
No.
bigger objects in?
you don't think it would fit, but you could try.
Nah. I mean, if I've never seen the bag be able to adjust its size to accommodate a bigger object, then I won't worry about
We
it.
were joking that Graham was trying to fit, what was his name? Milo? Steve? Philo?
Philo,
Oh.
yeah.
Philo into it.
Yeah, well, Fulwin starts trying to wrangle it. When he does, the cat jumps up and lays down in the bowl of it and goes to sleep.
I thought he was going to puke up a bunch of gold coins.
Or another magic ring. The useful cat.
Yeah. Fulwin gives a look of disdain at the cat, but then starts wrangling the thing away.
Since I'm going to be going back towards the house, I'll give him a hand with it. As my business with Graham is concluded.
Okay. What else? Who else?
I'm going to start looking through that spell book and transcribing spells. I'm also going to transcribe Summon Monster 2 into my spell book.
Okay.
It's going to take 1 day per spell.
Okay.
I'm going to work with Full Wind today, just gathering items that we need.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to go have fly practice.
For that stone spellbook that I'll be transcribing from, I forget the hero's name, dang it, but does it have every spell or just certain ones?
Yeah. I mean, for our purposes, it'll have whatever spell you want to learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once I get through with that, I'm going to begin prepping for making scrolls.
Okay.
And that should probably take care of whatever it is I'm doing until we leave.
All right.
I'm going to be trying to get through it as quick as possible.
So how many rations could I put together, or between the two of us?
Aramac was that hero's name.
Yes.
Rations.
Yeah.
There'd be a total of 20 rations that are
Okay.
made up and ready to go.
And how many did we have from in that building? How many days worth do you? I had notes.
In the bag.
Yeah, I'd put some notes the last time into the notes section on the.
I believe there were
Yes,
100 rations, but
I know we had 112 days in there. Just based on like the room that we were in, right?
oh yeah.
How many extra days did you grab from there last time?
I think it was. Did I grab it? Oh yeah, because Rohan sent me in to reload. I didn't specify at the time.
Okay. You just roll.
And I have a Graham has a difficult time negotiating
Well-
with the future. So
You would have gotten
Big 2 pieces of ham.
Yeah.
you would have been able to get enough food to feed everybody for 2 days.
Okay. So
Then the pig would have been exhausted, and it would have taken a while for it to appear back. All right, Graham and Ron want to go flying. So, go ahead. Say what you want to do. So your birds are just sitting on the cliff out there beside your house. And they're doing things like birds do, cleaning each other and themselves or whatever, that sort of thing.
well, I suppose it's just getting used to. It was a relatively short flight.
Yeah.
So, well, first, just for the thrill of it, in Graham's case, but then maybe trying a few tricks that come to mind from his hero craft skill from
Okay.
all the old memories, like do a barrel roll or something like that.
Right. So from that skill and those memories, what you didn't remember last time because things were brand new, but now that you go to get up onto your rock, you remember the basics that were taught to everybody that ever did this. So the seat you sit in, where you got the harness, that can move on that track up and down from just ahead of the wings to just behind it. And it also, with some levers you pull, will change its configuration so that you're laying down, like laying down flat. And that's to help with wind resistance or whatever. And, if the bird's having trouble with the wind conditions. There's also that box that's next to this seat apparatus, and that has some stuff you guys didn't look in. But you know what should be in there. For one thing, there should be some goggles to put on so you can see when you're going really fast or whatever.
Is all that stuff in there?
Yeah, so you open that up and you see that there's some goggles, there's some a couple of water skins, a really insanely thick canvas blanket as well, and it's got grommets on the edges, and you can see on the seating apparatus where you could fasten the edge of that to it to keep it from flying away. But yeah, there is some goggles in there.
Yeah, once we get up, I'm going to kind of point towards the mountain a little bit, see if I can get Graham to follow me, maybe scout, see if there's anything out that way.
What, towards Angry Mountain?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you take off, and then your birds start gaining altitude, and you point to Graham. Ron points to Graham towards the Angry Mountain, and so the rocks bank around, and they're always reaching for more height. They like to be high up, and so in no time at all, the village is, spread out below you, and then just ahead of that is the bowl and the massive forest that lies between the Angry Mountain and your village. And when you've been flying over the forest for about 2 minutes, you just get this intense pull from your birds. They bank opposite each other, but this is as far inland as they want to go. And it's like, animals, and these ones are special, but they're still animals, and some things just make them really uncomfortable, and there's no talking them out of it. And that's what the case is for them.
Right, not big enough game
Well,
for them to kill.
yeah, well, when you're looking out now, you look on all sides of you. There's nowhere that they could land in this forest. Nowhere. There's nowhere big enough. Like even the clearings that you can find that are really good size, they're not big enough for these animals to land in. So they bank around and start heading back towards where you started.
Okay. Can we still like keep an eye on the ground and see if we see anything like an army encampment? Because when we left before, there was that goblin army somewhere in the valley.
Yeah, go ahead and make spots, and always add a +4 to your spot when you're on your rock and wearing your goggles.
Well, that's about as good as I'm ever going to get.
Yeah, nice. All right. Okay, so you don't see any armies encamped or anything that looks especially out of the ordinary, except Rohan. When you both were heading west, then each of your birds banked. Yours banked to the north and started circling around. So when you look off in that direction, you see the open plain there.
Mm-hmm.
There's farmland out there. Some of the villagers live out there, but we're talking 20 people at most, and that's a huge area. And they don't set up their homesteads very far into it. So this is a giant patch of grassland that, nobody knows what's in there. But you do see a herd of animals. They look really tiny from your height. But there seems to be a massive number of them, and they are on the northern edge of that grassland. And like almost to the hills that separate the grassland from the swamp. So you do see that, and you've never seen that before. You can't tell what kind they are, but you've never seen a herd that big of animals. I mean, there's deer on the island, and there's elk, and there's cattle, but nothing that you've ever seen in herds that large.
Okay.
So Graham, yours banked around to the south. I lied. All these directions are wrong. You were flying north. Rohan banked to the east. Graham banked to the west. So now, Graham, you're looking at the hills and then the rock cliffs. And you can see that rocks have returned from where they flew off when you guys popped out of the long staircase. And from where you're at, the vantage that you have, you can see that there's so much more to what people call the rock cliffs than anybody ever knew. Like there's entire areas of flat ground hidden from view by jagged peaks. You spot trees in there. Right? These huge areas that nobody knew was there. Nobody's ever climbed them and lived to tell about it. So you're seeing something that no one's ever seen before. And it's this huge area. And of course there is a lot of jagged cliffs and steep slopes and rocks, but there are areas in there that nobody knew about, with grass and trees and soil and all that sort of stuff. So that's what you see from up there. And then they continue their wide bank, and then they're heading back out to sea, and they sort of angle so they'll meet back up. And the other two rocks are now up in the air following you as well.
We'll probably let them hunt.
So you can see the fishermen are out, and then far out to sea you can see water spouting from the whales, stuff like that.
Sounds like we found a target for a hunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so is that what you're going to do? You're going to let them hunt?
Yeah, I think so. And then I think this is probably a good sort of example of what Rohan and I might do throughout the days while we're waiting to leave.
Okay.
Just fly where they'll go.
All right.
One thing I kind of want to try and do is try standing on the back of the bird.
Okay. Yeah, so you go to push yourself up, and to your surprise, the harness allows it. It's not actually attached to the chair part itself.
Okay.
Right, you're harnessed to the track, sort of. Right, and so yeah, you're able to stand up. It provides a pretty good flat, solid base for you to stand on. Because of how big it is, how big the bird is. It does make it difficult because the wind is like, with the speed and the wind, it's really hard to stay upright.
Yeah.
But you could see that you'd be able to do that with relative ease, as long as she's flying straight and flat. You could stand up.
Okay. But yeah, I kind of want to start to get the feel of that feel.
Yeah.
The way that it moves under my feet as I stand up, and maybe even pull my bow out and, practice, like not actually knock an arrow, but practice pulling back and keeping steady and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you practiced that enough to know that, that it'd be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult to hit anything, but definitely doable with enough practice.
Yeah. But if we ever somehow get into combat while flying,
yeah,
then
you'd at least have a chance to try it. Yeah. Okay. So, they don't need any help from you to hunt, and they're pretty good at it. So, they pick a target and they swoop down and grab it and bring it back to land, tear it apart. Casimir's grabbing spells. What are you doing?
I was gonna try and gather up some material for potion brewing, and I also need to visit whoever works leather in the village too.
Okay.
Oh, I'm up to 4 days right now, John. So that's how long you.
Okay.
So I might go into 5 days, depending on how everyone's feeling there.
Okay. So what are you trying to obtain? Well, we can make it faster. I'll just.
Well, I want to see if I can get someone to make like a potion bandolero. Show them the vials, right? It's like something that would easily allow me to access this.
Yeah.
Right.
You can easily make that.
Okay. And I'll need 4 of them.
Okay. Yeah, he can easily make that.
What does he want in return?
Well, he needs leather.
Okay. So
good leather, he said.
I'll ask, since I know that these guys are out on the birds, I guess after that first day, I'll ask if you guys see any deer, anything that you could obtain or turn into leather, basically. As if you could bring back, skins.
Yeah. What do you want?
It's going to be and I'll explain the idea.
I'll say the birds don't particularly like going inland, so hunting from them is going to be difficult.
Well, Rohan, we could.
Yeah, the sense you get is that they don't like not being able to see the ocean.
We could go hunting one of these days. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You taught me.
It could. There are some types of sea creatures that they can use hide and leather off of. I think, was it manta rays? Their skin can work for that type of stuff.
That would make kind of a cool bandolero.
Yeah, I think that white bumpy part of a katana. That's what that is.
Oh.
Well, there's seals.
If it's authentic. Yeah, seals.
You don't know what those are and have never seen them, but that is something in the ocean you could make leather from.
Yeah, but however we need to get it it would make it easier.
We could go kill some monkeys.
So he can make them for you. He just says that he'll need you to give him. I mean, he has what he needs to make them.
Okay.
You'll need to get him some leather soon because he's running out.
So yeah, we could take a day and go hunting in the forest. How about on the second day we circle out over the rock cliffs, see if there's maybe something we can hunt up there.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend more time just trying to research this Isle of Penance as well. Kind of a mix. As I'll go out like in the mornings, look for potion material, and then go back and study and see if I could find anything else on it. I'll check in with the mayor and see if she might have found anything. Look through any of the just old stored items as well that we have, looking for any writings about it.
Right. Okay. All right. So, hunting. So the mayor says she hasn't found anything yet, but she's got a lot of her father's old stuff. So give her some more time, because there might be something in there about it.
Okay. And I guess what the next day I could I'll probably spend brewing a potion, because
Okay.
I'll have enough to actually do it.
Yeah, go ahead. Brew
So-
your potion. Let's see what happens. Right, so you guys wanted to go over the rock cliffs for hunting?
Yep.
Well, kind of scout it out, see if there's something we can hunt there.
Yeah, so the peak that you were on, the shelf you were on, was the farthest one out into the ocean. And the rock cliffs extend north for, a good 20 miles, 15 miles or so. So it's in that area that you see what I had described, because the rock cliffs are sort of made by two sets running next to each other. But that area in the middle, all of that is bright green trees and grasses. And there's still a lot of rocks in there, but it's a whole nother section of land nobody's ever known about. And you go flying over that, and you see animals down in there that you could hunt. Yeah, you for sure see a lot of goats, mountain goats in there.
Okay. Is there a place where we can set down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can set down sort of on the cliffs. You find a place where it's an easy walk down into the grass valley. It's got a lot of palm trees and really tall grass. And you can see the mountain goats spend most of their time right on the edges because they like being in the cliffs, and they'll go down in there and eat. A lot of moss grows on the rocks there that they'll eat too. So you can see a lot of them.
So, Graham, you want to try and stab one?
Yeah, I could try. I thought maybe you just might shoot him.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go to combat with the mountain goat. We'll just use your survival skill.
That's my aid.
That probably should have been the actual one. Really? Yeah. So with his aid, it's a 16.
Okay, so that's a couple hours of hunting. You find a good ram and you bring it down.
I'm sorely disappointed with my performance there.
Well, maybe aren't these supposed to be difficult hunts in real life?
They are really difficult, even with that's with guns.
Yeah.
So so you do get one. There's plenty of rams in the rocks, though.
Okay.
Depends on how long you want to stay out here.
Try for one more?
Sure. No aid from me.
Yeah, I didn't do a whole lot better, but I did better.
Better overall. This is like when you take a young kid fishing and they're into it, but they get tired. I start dragging my heels.
Didn't get a catch fast enough.
Yeah.
All right, so there's another one.
All right. So we'll load up one on each bird and take them back.
Okay. So you got your bandoliers. He made them, and he's got his leather, and you made your potions.
On our way back, I'm going to be asking Graham, how he feels after all of the wounds that he took. And
Well, I try not to think about it. I feel pretty good right now. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel those, what were they, spears going through me?
yeah. Are you scared to go back out there?
Yeah, I wish we could stay in the village forever, but
Me too.
I think we have to go back out there.
Yeah.
Are you? I guess you didn't get... You got pretty beat up, too, a bunch of times.
I'm more worried about you and the others than I am myself.
Well, Casimir and Fenrith seem to take care of themselves pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just the old Graham you got to worry about.
There wasn't a single one of us that didn't come close.
Yeah, but I came really, really close. Again and again.
Yes, you did. Try to be careful when we're out there next time.
That's the thing, Fenrith. I'm always trying to be careful. I just can't seem to get the hang of it. Oh, sorry, Rohan.
I'll give you the potion of bull strength that I just made. Or after today, at least.
All right. Well, let's get these goats back. Should be able to make some. Oh, I don't have it up right now. We should be able to make some good stew and maybe some rations and some leather from it.
I could make my special. Don't you remember?
No.
Before we were in that cave and we found that opening, I made a breakfast so good that 2 out of 4 heroes agreed it was the best breakfast they ever had.
You know what? How about we save that for a special occasion?
All right, I'll make it on the morning we set out.
All right.
Okay.
So what else, Fenrith?
Well, after that second day, that's the potion day. I said I'm going to continue to gather materials for more potion making and just more study. I mean, really.
Were you going to go out to Yothlani's?
Oh yeah, we had how many days? 5. So I'll go 3 days into it.
Okay.
There.
All right. So when you get there, like I said, it's the only building around. It's right on the edge of the bowl. It's about an hour and a half walk, sort of the northeast of the village. And it's stone. It's a building made out of stone. It's really big, too. And it doesn't have any decorations or anything like that. It's just a plain stone building. Even the stairs are made of stone. The doors are made of stone. And you've never actually been in this building. Not a lot of people have. She kind of just hangs out by herself out here, but people do bring their sick. Whenever anybody gets, sick, they'll bring them here. And she's always had a lot of success healing people. But when you go in, it's just her in there, and it looks like she was waiting for you. And so you can see all of the decorations she had there, all based on like the elements and the sun and the moon and the water and, things like that. Just nature spirits that passed as a religion for people here. But when she sees you, she smiles, and then she goes over and says, "You have to see what I found, and I think you'll know what it means." And so she starts tearing down the tapestries around the walls. She just starts tearing them off the wall, and then behind them, you start to see. After she moves the decorations, you see that there's engravings and carvings and paintings on the walls behind them, and you start to recognize the symbols in them and as being symbols of Coralon the Rathian.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've got his book and you've been reading it, and it has pictures in it here and there. And now some of those images are on these walls, and they look really old and faded, chipped and cracked and whatever, but they're there. And she says, "I don't know what made me do it. I just woke up and I finished my morning prayers and I tore these down, and this is what I saw." And anyway, so she explains to you that she's had a vision in her dream where a man that she describes as the most beautiful man with white light glowing behind him, calling himself Coralon the Rathian. And when he said his name, I knew who he was. And now I've been tasked to spread his word to the people of Cradle.
It's certainly a long time coming. And I'll start digging around in my bag, and I'll pull that book out and tell her that I found this while we were in this labyrinth or in this maze, and I haven't gotten all the way through it, but a lot of what you'll need is in here.
Yeah, her eyes light up when she sees it, but she's like, "You keep it. You'll need it. Come here." And so this temple had a stone pulpit, and I mean, it hasn't been used in a million years. Nobody comes to like services here, but she goes up to it and she bends at the leg and pushes. She gives a grunt as she pushes it, and it slides out of the way. And there's this little cubby hole beneath it, and she pulls up an exact replica of that book wrapped up in a cloth, and she pulls it out. She says, when I first saw it, I thought I was doing something wrong. But as I read it, I realized we've all been doing something wrong all of our lives. Right? She's got this fire in her eyes and this excitement. She says in her dream that Coralon Lorathian told her to give you a message.
What was that?
And that message was, so she gives you this picture she drew, and it's hard to understand what it is. Looks like a bunch of scribbles at first. But then as you look more closely, you see it's like a drawing of a night sky, right? And she points at one of the stars and says, he said to fly towards that star for 4 days and 4 nights. He said you'd know what it means.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the drawing from her. What would that be? Like reverent? Can't think of how to say that word. Reverently.
Reverently.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
My mouth can't make the word come out, but and thank her for it and tell her that I do know what it means, and in my mind hope that I do. So, but I'll tell her that every morning I offer prayer to Coralon Lorathian, and so if she'd like to, we could offer prayers together. Maybe that will bring more of the town folk in.
Yes, she says, I would love that, but I've already been doing that myself, and you'll never believe what happened. And so then she explains that whereas before, when she needed to heal somebody, she would use, tinctures and tonics and poultices and whatever, but now she explains that she's able to magically heal people. And so as she's talking to you, you understand that, like, she's also has access to magic now. Right? She doesn't have enough experience in it now to be able to explain all the things she can do, but a lot of it sounds familiar to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let her. I'm actually. I don't know exactly what you mean, as it was scary at first when I followed those same prayers that I was taught during training, and nothing ever came of them. But fairly early into the first outing that we had, they actually started to work, and now it's become not as wondrous as the first time, but the things you're able to do are, Graham's died like 4 times.
He hasn't technically died.
Well, he's been on the brink there. It was definitely when he got gored. Yeah.
Well, she says that she's been commanded to spread Coralon's word to his people, and she intends to do so. But that your opinion means a lot to Mayor Sinti, and I'd like for you to explain to her what I plan to do so that she doesn't work against me. Because not everyone is going to appreciate this message.
Yeah.
For one thing, I'm supposed to tell them that we must always be ready to fight and kill orcs. And I don't even know what that is.
Oh. Describe one. It was,
well, that sounds hideous, and now I understand why.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody is going to be happy to change their ways. And if the mayor would help me, or at least not hinder me, I might be more successful.
Change is going to come whether they want it or not, and it's already in the process of happening. So,
So you'll convert them by the sword?
well,
Good idea. I'll help.
all right.
Yeah, so anyway, she nods and she agrees with you, and she wishes you luck on your journey.
Yeah, I'll
It says that Cradle will be much different when you return.
I'll thank her for the drawing. Says that it's going to help quite a bit, and that I'll. Where has she been holding her prayers at?
In here. This is where she
Okay.
lives.
All right, so I'll tell her that I'll meet her here in the morning for prayer, and I'll talk with the mayor as well.
Okay.
'Cause, depending on what time of day it is, I'll probably put in a request to talk with the mayor on my way back to Hero House.
Yeah. Well, you could. Her house is on the way.
So yeah, if she has time to see me, then I'll explain that Corel Lorathian is the way. It's the only way, and that as the one true deity, we have to follow his word, and that what was her name? Yethlana is the one that he's chosen to spread that word, and an act against Corel Lorathian is an act against me. No. But explain that things are going back to the old ways, and
Be now.
yeah, and that
This is what
we
you're-
were once his people, and we need to be again to be ready to face whatever's coming.
This is what you're explaining to the mayor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, she listens to you, nodding her head and everything. But when you mention that name, you see the recognition in her eyes, and she says, I've been digging through my father's stuff, and I've found this, and she's got that book. It's just in really bad shape, all moth-eaten and faded, but essentially it's there. And anyway, she says, I don't know what to make of this. I'll have to think about it, and I'll have to talk with the council and trusted friends. But I don't see any reason why I would impede Yethlani from telling people whatever she wants to tell them. It'll be up to them to follow or not. And then she also apologizes. Looking through all of her father's stuff, she didn't find anything that would help you.
I'll tell her that we've found the way, or I found the Lord has helped me find the way.
Okay.
We're on a mission from God.
We are
Yeah.
now.
All right. So, that's all the stuff that has happened. You've gotten your bayonets and your potions and transcribed your spells and gotten your leather and hunted and spoken with village people and families, and that's where we are now. So it's been 5 days since you've been back, and now all you have to go on is a drawing with a particular star and an instruction to follow it for 4 days and 4 nights.
Might want to have Rohan look at that, as his survival skill might actually be able
Yeah,
to pick all
try-
that stuff out.
Try your survival with it.
Also, after I'm done scribing on the 5th day, I'll see if I'll call one of these guys over, or even Fenrith if he's around, and see if they can try on the Ring of Spell Storing.
Okay.
And if they can, they should have access to the spells within.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll if you want, I can do it. 'Cause you can try mine too.
Well, I just need to know who's around.
There's that survival roll. Perfectly average.
Yeah, well, anyway, you think in your head when you're looking at it, if it's accurate, you'll be able to pick that star out when it's nighttime.
Okay.
Would you be able to keep the course even during the day with nothing around though?
That might get kind of tricky.
Once we're out on the ocean, it may be difficult, but
We can correct ourselves again.
yeah.
Okay.
And with how high these things fly, we can see for a very long ways.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so the Ring of Spell Storing, somebody else can wear it.
Okay. So, you? John?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you put it on, and I kind of imagine it where you hear my voice saying the spell and kind of a mental image of what it sort of does. And
What did you have in there?
So right now you know that there's Shocking Grasp, 2 shields, and a mirror image. Right? And you should be able to cast them.
I'm going to use his mirror image.
Don't use that one.
Shocking Grasp?
Yeah, go for
it.
All right, so the only other thing that happens of note is that, Graham, you're walking around that hero home, right? Bloodtooth hasn't said a word the whole time. But for most of the last couple days, he's been doing this annoying little muttering. And you'll be like, what? And you'll just continue on with it. But you walk past where Fulwin had given up moving that contraption. And you're absent-mindedly looking in a different direction. So you bump into it. It's no big deal. But then finally Bloodtooth says something. He goes, no magic. And that's it. That's all he says. But he sounds very contemptuous. Gnome magic is what he says.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like, no magic.
Yeah, gnome.
Gnome.
Gnomish magic. Yeah.
What is gnomish?
But then he goes back to his muttering. Won't talk
Gnome
to you.
magic.
You get the sense he's getting really antsy, like he's bored, you know.
Go down to the docks and start stabbing the fish as they bring them in.
Don't worry, Bloodtooth. Hell's
All right.
coming.
And
I offered to
then
let him stab a ram.
that's where we have to stop for the night because it's stopping time.
All right. Thanks,
Brandon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for playing, guys.
This has been a Death Watch production. Thank you for listening.